So this is page 1 of the Geometry Chapter 5 practice test. It says identify the endpoints, then find the midpoint of the line segment. So this point right here is at 3, because you go over 3 and 0. This point right here is at 5, -4. And so you want to find the average of the x's by adding them together and dividing by 2, and then find the average of the y's by adding them together and dividing it by 2. So 3 plus 5 over 2, and 0 plus -4 over 2. And that simplifies to 8 divided by 2, which is 4, and -4 divided by 2, which is -2. So you're going to do the same thing with number 2. This endpoint is at 0, -3, oops. And this point is at 4, 5. So we're going to add the x's together, divide by 2, add the y's together, divide by 2. So when you go to simplify, 0 plus 4 is 4, 4 divided by 2 is 2, -3 plus 5 is 2, 2 divided by 2 is 1. Numbers 3 and 4, the directions say identify the endpoints and find the distance between the endpoints using the distance formula. Or you may create a right triangle and use the Pythagorean theorem to find the length of the hypotenuse. Leave your answers as a simplified radical. Okay? So I'm going to use the Pythagorean theorem by creating a right triangle. I just go straight out and straight down, creates a little box. Then I just count the sides. So 1, 2, 3 units long, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units long. And I want to find the side of the hypotenuse, which is x. So I'm going to say 3 squared plus 5 squared is going to be equal to x squared. So x squared equals 9 plus 25. 9 plus 25 is 34. So when I take the square root of both sides, I get x equals the square root of 34. 34 is not a perfect square and does not have any perfect square factors, because if you get the prime factorization, 2 goes in there 17 times and 17 is prime. So this is the answer. Number 4, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to create that right triangle and count the sides. This side has 2 units. This side has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And I want to find the hypotenuse. I'm going to put the x over there. So I'm going to say x squared is equal to 2 squared plus 7 squared. So x squared equals 4 plus 49, which is 51, 53. And then I take the square root of both sides, and so I get x equals the square root of 53. And there are no perfect square factors of that one either, so that's the answer. For numbers 5 and 6, each figure shows a triangle with one of its angle bisectors. So the key thing is to know what this angle bisector means. It means it cuts the angle exactly in half and creates 2 congruent angles. So number 5 says find the measure of DFE. So DFE is the whole thing, and if the measure of angle 1 is 52, so I'm going to label it 52. Well, I know that this is the angle bisector, so this one must also be 52. I add those 2 together, and I get 104. Number 6, if measure of angle 2 is 26 degrees, find the measure of angle DBC. DBC, the whole thing, so this one must also be 26. Add those 2 together, and we get 52 degrees. All right, turn your paper over to page 2. Go up to the top. Up at the top, it says the measure of angle 1 is 33 degrees, so I'm going to label it. Find TVU. So TVU is the whole thing. So if they're both 33, that means together they're going to be 66. Number 8, measure of angle 1 is 11. Find TRS, the whole thing. So if they're both 11, together they're going to be 22. All right, number 9. The measure of angle 1 is 9x plus 3. And the measure of angle 2 is 10x. Find or solve for x. Well, these two should be equal to each other. So I'm going to say that 10x is equal to 9x plus 3. Subtract 9x from both sides. And I get x equals 3. Number 10. Angle 1 is 6x plus 4. And zxy, the whole thing, is 15x minus 1. Well, two of these is going to be equal to one of these. So I'm going to say 2 times the 6x plus 4 is going to be equal to 15x plus, minus 1. And then I just need to distribute over here. So I have 12x plus 8 equals 15x minus 1. Subtract 15x from both sides. Subtract 8 from both sides. And 12x minus 15x is negative 3x. Negative 1 minus 8 is negative 9. So when we divide both sides by negative 3, we get x equals positive 3. Number 11. Angle 1 is 6x plus 3, so go ahead and label it. Angle 2 is 5x plus 9, so label it. These two should be equal to each other. Let's put an equal sign between them. And subtract 5x from both sides. Subtract 3 from both sides. We get x equals 6. Number 12. Angle 1 equals 8x minus 2. HFG, the whole thing, is 15x plus 2. So 2 of these is going to be equal to one of those. So we just need to distribute over here. We get 16x minus 4. Subtract the 15x from both sides. Add 4 to both sides. Opposites, opposites. So we get x equals 6. Numbers 13 and 14, these are midpoints. So these end up being mid-segments in each triangle. And then P are midpoints. Name a segment that is parallel to one given. So NP right here is going to be parallel to this one, which is FG. Number 14, NP is going to be parallel to this one, which is XW.